new Black Wall Street. Do it right, build wealth, live life, economic empowerment, real tips, insight on the new Black Wall Street. Yeah. It's on the new Black Wall Street. Here's your host.
All right, Grand Rising to you billionaires. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the New Black Wall Street as we present to you guys the Money and Power Show. And our special presentation here today is Black Man Monday. That's right, Black Man Monday, which is a wonderful opportunity. I mean, right after Mother's Day, we honor the mothers. Might as well honor the men as well. That's right, Black Man Monday. We're going to honor, uplift, support, and continue to show our appreciation for the Black man here today on Black Man Monday. And I do got a special guest with us here today who is all about empowerment, all about the upliftment of people, and particularly has a special spot in his heart for the Black man, the young Black men that are out there. We call him Uncle Frank. And so I'll be bringing him in to introduce you guys to this brother that's been putting into work for some years, who's a big asset in our community. But nonetheless, guys, I'm your host, ERGJ, your certified financial educator, CEO of ERGJ Enterprises, ERGJ Black Bazaar, an international best-selling author of the book, The Black Billionaires Club. The book that I wrote, guys, is The Study of Black Wealth. The book that I wrote is a study of the 12 richest Black people in the world today and how they built their wealth. And I just truly believe that if you want to be wealthy, that's a big if, by the way, but if you do, I recommend that you study wealthy people. It's going to give me a little delay today. That's okay. That's just what it is. That's right, guys. You can grab your copy today by simply going to the website, www.theblackbillionairesclub.com, www.theblackbillionairesclub.com. It's available in English and in French for our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. This book is actually in 10 different countries as well. The question is, why is it not in your library? Why is it not on your shelf? Well, you can pick up that book today to begin your study. Everybody put in console study. To begin your study of wealth. If you want to be wealthy, study wealthy people. You'll find that link in the description above or below. Today's episode is being brought to you by ERGJ Black Bazaar, the Afrocentric marketplace which specializes in Afrocentric home decor, personal care products, and also Black art-inspired gifts. Here at the Afrocentric marketplace, man, we have tons of cool stuff for you guys. Looks like everything ain't populating. We're going to do a little refresh on here for you. But we do have your Black art-inspired gifts, your Afrocentric home decor, your personal care products, and then now we are just making sure we're featuring things that we would need right now, which would be your mask, your filters, your hand sanitizer, your face mask, all the stuff, man, we do have available for the community because at the end of the day, guys, we got to take care of we. And so I just wanted to make sure that we could pivot, transition, and offer our community that which we need, especially as we're opening up these cities and we still ain't cleaned out the virus. So let's not be silly. Let's not be stupid. Let's not put ourselves in danger without having the proper protection. We call this PPE, right? Proper personal protective equipment you can find here at the ERGJ Black Bazaar, the Afrocentric marketplace. Again, guys, here at the marketplace, we want you guys to remember this, that once you shop Black, you never go back. Just simply go to the website, www.theblackbazaar.com, www.theblackbazaar.com to shop Black, to buy Black, and to participate in group economics. That's right, participate in group economics. Let's find out who's here with us this morning, man. The early bird gets the worm. It's a magical Monday, Black Man Monday. Let's see who's here with us, man. Hit the like button, the share button if you care. Like button, the share button if you care. What's going on with your good brother Thomas is in the house, man. Thanks so much. The only one that typed something so far. I don't know what's going on. Did I wake up late? I don't know what's going on, but it is what it is. We're going to keep this thing going here today, man. We're broadcasting across the World Wide Web, right? The World Wide Web on Facebook and also YouTube. And so we pray and hope that you guys, wake up and you get on with the show, man. We got money and power. Now, money and power is simply this, guys. We talk about two out of the three subjects that we have just been taught not to talk about. We talk about money or the economy, and we talk about power and or politics. One is all about cash flow, which is money. The other is about cash rules, which is politics. And so here's the deal. We need to become involved in both the economy and in the politics, right? We need to become involved in both, how money flows and actually getting our hands on it, and then also the rules behind the game, right? How many guys have played the game but didn't ever know the rules and didn't realize you were playing the game wrong? Well, that's what's happening in life. We playing a video game. We playing this thing called capitalism. We don't know the rules, and we keep getting our heads smashed by the boss. No. So when we know the rules, we can know how to play the game, and we can defeat the boss, and we can make the game work for us. That's why the politics is so important, as although we don't necessarily like politics, it's still important for us to understand politics. How about that? Anyway, man, good morning to you. Thanks so much for typing. I appreciate you. All right, Queen Naila is in the house, man. Good morning to you. King Donald, thanks so much for joining us here today on the Money and Power Show. We're going to begin with our political piece. Now, I haven't found anybody quite political yet that's unbiased that come on the show, but I found a great book. And sometimes a great book is all you need. It's called The Black History Reader. This book is written by brother Dr. Claude Anderson. You guys don't know Dr. Claude Anderson. He's one of the great minds of our time. He's written books like Powernomics, Black Labor, White Wealth. And he's ventured off into politics of things, or the policy of things as well. And so in this book, he has 101 questions that you never thought to ask. And I think it's great that we're honoring Dr. Claude Anderson here today on Black Man Monday. 101 questions that you never thought to ask. And here's question number 10, and we'll find out what Dr. Claude Anderson has to say about this. What is racism, and can a Black person be a racist? What is racism, and can a Black person be a racist? Here today on the Money and Power Show, Black Man Monday, Dr. Claude Anderson, we're going to pay homage to you by reading your legacy. That's right. Let's read. Racism is a group-based power and economic control phenomenon in which one racial group owns and controls so much wealth and resource power that it can enslave, subordinate, exploit, exclude, or render another group non-competitive. The dominant racial group can make life and death decisions for potential competitor groups. It can predetermine what the lesser power group can own, what they can control, its wealth, and the extent to which it will be allowed to compete. Racism is one of the most contentious and dangerous terms in the English lexicon, and is overused and misapplied by laymen and scholars alike. In a society in which the policy of benign neglect is still operative against Blacks, there has been an effort to equate and replace racism with classism. Class is defined by the economic status, educational level, and employment status and professional accomplishment. Class is fluid. Racism against Blacks is fixed. Classism and racism are not the same. Everybody putting comments on not the same. Blacks as a group cannot cross the color or race line. Religious, gender, ethnic, or cultural groups are not the victims of racism, but of classism. The power and economic control phenomenon of racism is non-applicable to them because classes are subcategories of a larger society, and generally, they participated in the economic enrichment from Black enslavement. Further, classes are open and fluid and promote the right to compete for equality. Racism came into existence on the eve of the Civil War after all the resources had been distributed to European whites. The practice of racism was originally designed to deny Blacks the right to compete, to be equal, and to become a class. While racism is group-based, class discrimination is individualized and arises from prevailing societal issues. For instance, when Arabs are profiled and connected to terrorism, it is discrimination, but it is not racism. When Hispanics are profiled and associated with illegal immigration, it is not racism, but discrimination arising out of contemporary social concerns. In neither of the recited instances is the purpose of the class discrimination to exploit, to enslave, or to segregate all members of the classes. It is inaccurate to equate class minorities to Blacks and racism. History reveals that the concept of racism has undergone a metamorphosis in both meaning and application through the centuries. To understand racism and deal with it effectively, it is important to understand the historical origin and purpose of racism, to know what it is and what it is not. Racism as a word and concept did not just pop out of the blue. It evolved from the confluence of events and circumstances. The practice of equating individualized gender, ethnic, cultural, and religious discrimination to institutionalized racism against Black people provides justification for continuing the racial status quo. In the late 1400s, two essential factors came together from which racism evolved: the possibility of free land in the Americas and free labor from African blacks. At that time, the entire continent of Europe was dysfunctional, ravaged by famine, crime, poverty, and disease. European countries were looking for lands to conquer to infuse their nations with new energy and wealth. The Catholic Church was the leading invader and controller of world expansionism. During that period, the Vatican was given 16 black slaves as a gift. A short time later, Pope Innocent issued a special edict and declared that blacks should be used as free labor, thereby establishing a new kind of slavery. Until that time, a person could be enslaved for only 3 reasons: religious persecution, personal indebtedness, or for being a prisoner of war. When Columbus returned to Europe with news that he had discovered a new uninhabited land, a vision took hold to merge available free black labor with new free land. At that precise point, racism replaced tribalism, the social structure of Europe at the time. 9 European nations were into competition. A political economic race commenced to see which country could best exploit free black labor and use it to capture land, resources, and wealth to enrich their countries. That economic race using free black labor lasted until the eve of 1861, the Civil War in the United States. The race between the European nations ended at this point because the resources and wealth of the Americas had been distributed, and nearly 100% of everything was now in the hands of white Europeans. At the same time, European slaveholders denied enslaved blacks the right not only to enjoy the fruits of their labor, but also the right to acquire land, wealth, and political power. These exclusions were instituted as law, and blacks were defined as powerless property. The founding fathers rigged the race. They crafted a social construct that locked blacks into a constitutional underclass status, and white society as a group remains opposed to corrective redistribution of wealth, power, or resources to black Americans. After all the resources have been distributed to whites by the 1860s, the concept of racism morphed from an economic issue to one of biology, with Charles Darwin's theory of natural selection presented in his 1859 book, Origin of the Species. In this book, he ranked living organisms and classified blacks at the bottom of human species. Out of Darwin's biological theories grew the requirement that all persons be identified by racial designations on birth certificates, driver's licenses, and other public documents. Race remained a biological issue until a century later, with the advent of the Black Civil Rights Movement, when racism morphed again. The concept of racism expanded and took on a more colloquial and casual meaning that signified not power, but personal feelings about liking or disliking individuals. This misdirection and misapplication of the term racism allowed the original objective of racism, to maintain the inequality between whites and blacks, to continue unabated. Racism grew out of the competitive race between groups to control wealth and power. Everybody put it down, so wealth and power. As early as 1516 in North America, whites have been the winners and blacks the losers, allowed only to react to white racism. Blacks do not have power or wealth. It is therefore not possible for them to be racist. They do not have power nor wealth. Therefore, it is not possible for a black person to be racist. Wow. That's what I'm talking about, man. This is Dr. Claude Anderson. We're going to pay homage to our ancestors here on the Money and Power Show. And this is just what we do, man. Let's catch up on these comments, man. Greetings to you, Queen Gloria is in the house. Man, take a minute to get the chat. Okay, no problem. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Queen Vivian. Thanks so much. Grand Rising to you. Great Scott is in the house, man. Thanks so much for joining us. Ryan Scott is here today on the Money and Power Show, guys. I definitely got to bring in my guest right now because, I mean, he's been here for a while. He could probably speak to some things he just heard and his take on what Dr. Claude Anderson just said in his book, A Black History Reader, 101 Questions that you never thought to ask. And the question today was what is racism, and can a black person be racist? Let me introduce you guys our guest here today from a force of one, a black man who's been doing this thing everywhere. I mean, whenever his name comes up, there's always something positive to say. I was able to meet this brother maybe 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, And ever since then, man, I just get wisdom every time I speak to him. And so I want to make sure that we give you the opportunity to get that wisdom here today. Let me introduce you guys my good friend, Uncle Frank from A Force of One. Let me unmute him, man. Uncle Frank, man, good morning, brother. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm doing very well. How about you, brother Evan?
Man, hey, you know what? My mind just went to a whole other space after I read this book, but I'm doing absolutely phenomenal, man. Hey, thanks so much for joining us here today on the Money and Power Show with our special presentation on Black Man Monday. Of course, there's some people who have never heard your name, don't know who Dr. Franklin J. Marshall is. And for some reason, I don't know. But if you could introduce yourself, tell people a little bit about who you are, what you do, why you do what you do, and why the heck we should listen to you.
Well, my name is Franklin Marshall. I'm from the little small rural area called Powder Spring, a little place, I guess, a lot of you probably familiar with Six Flags. It's about 6-7 miles below Six Flags, a little place called Powder Spring. Grew up there very, very poor. I grew up and have 10 siblings. Grew up in a single parent home. My mom used to work her finger to the bone, you know, trying to provide for us. Well, not trying, providing for us. She did an outstanding job. I grew up in a very racial era during that particular time. That was time, man, you know, like growing up, man, we walked down the street. A lot of the white guys would run by and throw rock bottles at us and rocks and such and holler out, niggas, you know, just for no reason. We just couldn't seem to understand, you know, why so many people could just be so cruel, especially when you haven't done anything to them. You know, like I say, you know, I grew up very poor, man, and I made a vow to God when I was a little boy. I said, God, you bless me. When I grew up, I want to put me in a position that I would never look down on anyone unless I'm compliment them on their shoes or I'm trying to help them up one. And God have blessed me to that degree, and I'm doing just what I told him that I would do once I grew up when you put me in that position. So we have a group to call the Force of One, and one reason we started the group to call the Force of One, try to get men to take their rightfully place, you know, to put themselves in finance position so they can be able to do the things in this world that we want to do and the things that we should be doing, because we got a lot of the young people coming behind us. They are watching us and they need that role model. You know, they need a model, something to follow. And so that's when we start the face of the Force of One. And that's the bunch of men coming together. We have the father and son red tie lunch, and that's our singing tube program. We does that once a year to be able to equip men to take that rightful place so they be more acclimated in their son's life. Because that's one reason, you know, like a lot of these young people act like they act because they just need some role models, and they don't know why they fit in there. So therefore they act like a misfit. And so that's why we as adults come in at, you know, so that's why we start the Force of One, to be able to help them and steer and guide them in that direction and show them that there is hope, because so many of our young people nowadays are living without hope. So like I say, you know, so that's what I do. And I got married at an early age. I got married at the age of 22, and I was married for like 44 years. I just lost my wife. Yesterday was a year and 8 months ago. A year and 8 months ago, and you know, it still feel like yesterday. And so that's pretty much. And out that union came 3 kids and 9 grandkids. I'm sorry, 9 grandkids. And so those are some of the things we do. So like I said, by me growing up like that, and I want to do all I can to try to make sure that no one else had to come up and be poor. So it's all about mindset. All about, everyone talks about that all the time, about mindset. And so we got to get to a point in life. So we got to change our mindset, because God can't even change us until we change the way we think, because everything starts right here. We're where we are because of the way we think. I remind us something S.B. Fuller said. S.B. Fuller said, we're not poor, simple reason because God want us to be poor. He said, we're poor, simple reason because my mom and my dad ever had a desire to be rich. So everything starts right here. You got to have a desire to do these things. And so that's just a little something about me. And so back in your hand, Evan.
Absolutely, man. Brother Frank, man, I know you got so much to give, man. We'll try to get it all in today as much as we can. First, I want to talk about maybe some things you just heard from Dr. Claude Anderson. And again, because you got history behind you, was there anything that stood out as we were talking about blacks and racism and some of the things that he was talking about, different between racism and classism, or anything that stuck out to you as far as what you heard from Dr. Claude Anderson?
Yes. like, can a black man be racist? Absolutely, because I know a lot of black men that are racist and all. But you know, even though like what I came through, I could easily well, you know, be racist, but I'm not, you know, because that doesn't really get you anywhere. There's a lot of real racists is really being ignorant a lot of time because just not understanding who people are, not really knowing who you are, because there's enough in this world for everybody. And so, you know, yeah, it just don't make sense to be racist. There are a lot of black people that are racist, and they have all the rights in the world to be. For the way we have been beat up on and been dramatized, and like I say, you know, I used to get ballers and things and rocks and things thrown at me when I was a little boy, just for no apparent reason. And so we got to be able to shift our mindset, because if we still being racist in this age and time now, you know, that distort us and distract us from where we're really trying to go. You know, it kind of stop you from moving forward, basically. So you got to, where you goes in the direction you think, and you continue to think in racism and everything. Now, I'm not saying be aware. You got to be aware because it's still alive and real, but you can't let that totally be your driving force. If you do, it can kind of distort you and distract you from where you really need to be going and the things that you need to be doing. So that's why it's so important to continue to read and continue to study. Reading and study is very, very, very important. So that's why, you know, like this black business club is so important, because you're really educating a lot of people on a lot of things that they don't know. Because you'd be surprised some of the people that never heard of Dr. Claude Anderson. You know, he's an outstanding guy. He really you know, fight for his people, and that's awesome. That's awesome. We need more Dr. Claude Andersons.
Absolutely, man. Now you just said everybody put in comments on read and study. You just said read and study, and I cannot help but to see all these books behind you, brother. So everything that's in your library, and I tell people all the time, I said, you know, one thing that you'll find with most wealthy people, they have big libraries. They got a whole vast amount of books that they read, they studied in whatever arena, whatever industry that they've used to help them, you know, build their minds so they can be experts in whatever it is they want to be experts in. Out of all that stuff that you have, all those books, man, is there one particular book that stands out above the rest other than the Bible, that stands out above the rest in your library for you?
Yes, I have one in particular that, as a lot of you know, the great Dr. George Fraser. I love the book that he written, Success Runs in Our Race. And that's an outstanding book. And I would admonish each and every one that's on this broadcast, if you doesn't have that book, to get that book. That's an outstanding book, along with a Dr. Claude Anderson book. That's an outstanding book. Success runs in our race, and which it does. So that all that, see, we got to believe these things. So everything starts with a mindset. You got to believe that you can be successful. Once you believe that, you start doing things that are necessary in order to make that happen. Because we got to get rid of that broke mentality. You know, so long we continue having that broke mentality, we don't know what's all possible for us.
Absolutely, man. Now, Brother Frank, I know that you run quite a few things through your Force of One, and a lot of it has to do with mindset. Man, talk to us a little bit about as you were growing up and going through all the stuff that you've been through. Was there? Can you point to a time where you decided to? Or what was the makeup that got you to the point where you were like, you know, you made that promise to God and you decided you was going to take control of your mind and then obviously take control of your destination or your future into whatever you built up to this point in time. Can you talk about where you were or this decision or what was happening in your life to go from maybe a space where things were just happening to you to then where you decided you were going to take control of your life?
Yes, sir. You know, like I say, growing up as a little boy, there was a lot of time, you know, I was denied from doing a lot of things because I realized because a person doesn't have no money, they consider as a nobody. And then growing up as a little boy, like I said, it's just so much that I wanted to do. And I was very much aware. I didn't even have the word. I didn't even, never even heard the word mentoring and all this and that, you know. So mentoring was very important back then because they didn't use the word mentoring. And use like, you know, it takes a village to raise a kid. You know, everybody just looked after one another kids and everything, you know, but then use the word mentoring wasn't being flooded around anything at those particular times. So I just knew it was more to life that I was experiencing, that was it was more to life that I was experiencing when I was growing up. It was more to life than what I was experiencing. That's what I'm trying to say. And so now I made a vow and I said, when I grew up, I would not be poor. I made that vow because it's no fun being poor, because when you're being poor, you're being not denied of so much. There's so much things you cannot do when you're poor, because being poor brings on all kind of anxiety and everything. And so I made a decision because I know, man, and I always had such love for people, and I always wanted to help people. And so once I started going to, I never didn't have the mentor and I didn't have those models that I could really look at to really cause me to move forward, because pretty much everybody in our neighborhood was pretty much poor. You had one or two people around now that was pretty much, that did pretty good, but pretty much everybody poor. When I started going to the church down there, a Word of Faith, Bishop Dale C. Brown, when I started going to that church, man, and a lot of things that I had been internalized in the way I thought, he was ministering to those things I never been ministered to. That's when I had an illumination, something that turned on. Then I realized then I can be successful, because at one point I had doubts in my mind. And once I started going to Word of Faith, and that's when that light bulb came on in my life, and I started believing more in myself, and I can do this, and I must do it. And so then once I started doing it, that's when I started reaching back and showing other people that they can do it as well, and encouraging them, because that's who I am. I am the encourager challenge. I encourage people and challenge them to do the things that they so want to do, so they so desperately desire to do. Let them know that it is possible. If for someone of my standard, someone didn't even graduate from high school, don't have a whole lot of education other than educate myself, because self-education will get you ahead in life. What it said, public education get you a job, self-education get you ahead. So that's why it's so important to read, because it says a person that can read and don't read is worse than a person that can't read. And so you got to continue to read and move forward, that if you really want to move forward. So that way, in order to really to move forward, you got to know what it is that you want, because so many people don't know what they want. So that's what I try to do, talk to people and try to encourage them and try to find out what they are, speak to them what they are. So like I say, growing up in an area like that, man, it just wasn't no fun. So I did all I could, doing all I can now to never have to go back, man. Never have to go back.
Absolutely.
And it's for everybody. Anybody can be successful. It's just know what it is they want and put those things in place and start listening to stuff like this right here to preparing themselves. And I tell people a lot of times too, Brother Evan, like I said, if you have a vehicle and if you doesn't have a coach, sell your vehicle and hire your coach, you'll go further in life. Because we need someone that done been down, that knows the way, that's speaking into us.
Absolutely, man. Now you mentioned a key word that comes up, man. You said you decided. You decided. Talk to us a little bit about the importance of making a decision. You decided that you wasn't going to be poor, but then at the same time you decided you was going to be rich or successful, however you want to define it. You made a decision. Mm-hmm. Began to walk out that decision, man. Talk to us a little bit about how important it is for people to simply make the decision.
Well, making a decision is very key. That's the key to life, is making a decision. Because once you make a decision, you made a decision. This is what I'm going to do. A lot of others think, because once you make a decision, from that point you start living by principles. Because if you're not living by principle, you suffer to do something in and everything. Once you make a decision, your life starts changing. Then you start doing those things, putting things in place that going to cause you to get to that point. And once you make that decision, then you start looking for certain type of people to bring into your life to be able to help you attain those things. You just don't rip and run around with any and everybody. You be very choosy about how you spend your time, because time is very, very key. Is how you spend your time. We all have 24 hours a day, and how you spend those 24 hours is totally up to you. We have 24 hours divided into 8. We have 8 hours of sleep, we have 8 hours to have fun, and we have 8 hours to work. And and most people don't sleep 8 hours, and they definitely don't have fun for 8 hours. And so you can take some of those, distract some of those hours and work on your mind. So once you make a decision that you're going to move forward, you distract some of those hours from sleeping all the time and from having fun all the time. You start spending that time in yourself, because you know what it says, formal education will get you a job, but self-education will get you ahead. So now that comes from making a decision. You got to make a decision. You got to decide what it is that you want. Once you make a decision, and then get committed to that decision, and that's very key right there. You got to get committed, because without commitment, you're not going to really do too much. You just like you be monkey-minded. You all over the place. You start stuff and you stop. You start stuff and you stop. See, that's the problem. You know, a lot of people don't make a decision. So when you don't make a decision, you don't follow through on a lot of things, because what it said, failure follows those that fails to follow through. So once you make a decision, you make that decision, you have what you call stickability, and you will stick to it. And that's what it's going to take, because like I say, you start something, stop. We leave too many open ends. We'll start something, then we get right here and things are not going right, and we'll stop, we'll quit. We won't complete it through. We won't close that end. So you got to be able to follow through, because that's what success is. Your success is in follow up and follow through. You know, that's very key. Very key.
Brother, you said that failure follows those who fail to follow up. That what you said?
Follow through. Follow through.
Say it again for us. I want to make sure we get that.
Failure follows those that fail to follow through.
Wow. Failure follows those who fail to follow through. Now, Brother Frank, again, I've had the pleasure of knowing you for for a few years, and you've seen quite a few things, I guess, that maybe we have done, or I've done, or the Black Billionaires Club has done. You're a part of the Black Billionaires Club as well. You know, tell us a little bit about, man, what you've seen and how it makes you feel. You know, are you proud of some of the things that we've done? Or, you know, what's your take on some stuff that you've seen us actually do? Because it's one thing to talk about stuff, it's another thing to actually do stuff.
Absolutely. Well, I like what you're doing, Evan. You know, like you and Sir McAdoo, and man, I love you guys, man, and I admire you. And you know, and I'm going to hook up with you and start doing more, because I was getting involved with you all when my wife passed. So when my wife passed, that was a big blow to me right there, man. That just kind of set me back, you know, big time. And so, and I'm definitely getting ready to get back more implemented with you guys, man, because I love what you're doing, and what I really love the way you all treat people, and you really care for people. That's very key. You're not out here trying to get over. You're not trying to manipulate anyone. So you're very sincere. You want to help your people, and you all not just want to do it. You all are doing it, man. You know, and that's very, very key. We need a vehicle like what you all have right here in order for us to move forward. Because so many people, man, they look at, so many, as you know as well as I do, they don't really care about your well-being. They're just always trying to fatten their pockets and what have you. Realize we got to have money in order to be able to move forward. That's very key. But you shouldn't have to go out here and try to manipulate anybody, you know, and just mess over people just to get it. And I don't see that in you all. Y'all doing a great thing, man. And I love what you all doing. You're helping a lot of people. You're really helping me. You're very encouraging to me to want to do more. You know, so, and I love what y'all doing, man. So I just wanted to pray in this amongst you until you just continue to keep doing it, man. And you're very consistent, because we talking about failure, you follow those, the failure follow through. You guys follow through. And that's what I like. When you say you're going to do something, you do it. You're very serious type guy. You're not so serious you're not curious about things. You're not curious about things. You guys are serious. And there's a big difference between being curious and being serious. So many people are curious about being success, and they're curious about helping people, but they're not serious. You know, so that makes a difference, because you're not going to do a whole lot if you're not serious. And, you know, making that go back to making that a decision. Y'all decided that you're going to stick with what you are doing. Y'all believe in what you're doing. You see the need. And so you see the need, and you guys are fulfilling the need. That's what I like about the Billionaire, the Black Business Club.
Absolutely, Frank. Now, you also are serious about a few things that you've gone and started and stuff. Talk to us a little bit about your as we're talking about the Black Business Club, about your journey into business, and what is it that you have actually built to make sure that you're never broke another day in your life, right? Because you can make that decision and then you commit to it, but then you got to go to work. You got to
absolutely
something. You got to start to make something happen. So, what are some things that you've made happen to ensure that you won't go back to the poorhouse?
Just like I said, man, like I said, once you make that decision, man, you got to stop making butt prints, and then you got to start making footprints. We got too many people saying they want to do this, they want to do that, but they're just sitting there making butt prints, just sitting on the butt, not really doing anything. So you got to start. You got to build action here. You got to get up off your butt and go and get busy. So what I done, I started when I was, like I said, when I was a little boy growing up, I made a decision when I was a little boy. When I grew up, I'm not going to be poor. And I'm not rich, but I'm not poor either. So now I always have wanted my own business when I was a little boy, because I know having your own business, that gives you flexibility, because I know you work harder for yourself, and you are going away from the house a lot of time when you first start your business, but working for your own self, and if you do it right, it gives you freedom, and it gives you flexibility, and it gives you fulfillment. I love those 3 F's right there. It gives you freedom, it gives you fulfillment, and it gives you freedom. So now I have a cleaning business. I started cleaning. I used to have a real passion about cleaning. And so what I done, I started a cleaning business about 18 years ago. And I does office building. I have truck mounts, and I clean carpet and this and that. If anybody to come into the house and clean their carpet, and right now during this COVID, disinfect your house, like for this virus and all, we can do that. So when I started that business, man, to secure my family, so my family wouldn't have to grow up the way I grew up. Like I said, because I grew up very poor, man. There was many days and nights I had to go barefoot because I didn't have shoes to wear, and I had to wear my clothes 3 and 4 times a school a week. Come home every day, pull my clothes off, and put my play clothes on and go play. Then next day, come home, pull them clothes off, and put my play clothes on. And if I didn't make sure that I messed my clothes up, I probably wound up having to wear them clothes all week, because mama, had so many of us, she had to do a lot of washing, try to minimize the washing, so those things that I done, I started my own business so that I won't have to be poor all my life, and I'll be able to leave a legacy, not only to my kids, but to my grandkids as well. And so like right now, I'm secure, and I'm talking to my grandkids now. Every Thursday, I have them to call in on my comfort call line, and I just speaks into my grandkids. I have 9 grandkids, where all of them able to call in, but one, because one of them only is 2 years old. And I talk to them, and I'm getting ready to get them started in business. So you're gonna be hearing more about them. And so at some point in time, I'd like to have you to maybe speak to them. I had Lisa and Bryant spoke to them last week, and so they spoke to him, and they had a lot standing time. So stuff like that, man, that's what I did. I started my own business so I could secure my future and my legacy, so I won't have to be poor all my life. And I'll be able to do the things that I want to do, and when I want to do it, and how much I want to do it. And that's a good spot to be in. That's what God wants all of us to be in, that position. So that's what I was saying earlier about S.B. Fuller. Said the majority of us, we're not poor because God wants us to be poor. We're poor simple reason we haven't made that decision, and we don't have that desire. Then if we do have desire, we got to be able to do the things that necessary. That's why I say you got to quit being curious and get serious, because ain't nothing going to happen until you get serious about it. Otherwise, you just monkey minded, just jump from limb to limb, just all over the place. That's why you see so many people, they start this and they don't get the success that they want within 2 or 3 days. They'll stop and they jump, they start doing something else. Then they don't get the success. They over here doing something else. They just monkey minded, just all over the place. You can't grow anything like that, because you put a seed in the ground, you got to let it stay there and germinate. If you put a seed in the ground today and go back out there tomorrow and see and don't see anything, you pull it up, then go over here and plant it, then go back the next day and pull it up. You'll never get nowhere in life. So you have to be able to have stickability and stick to it. And all that comes with making a decision and knowing what it is that you want, and recognizing and realizing what it's going to take in order to be successful. That's very key.
Absolutely, man.
I hope I'm not all over the place, man.
You're not, Brother Frank. We're here to listen to you, man. This is called getting wisdom from the ages, man. Wisdom from the ages, and I hope that we appreciate that, because oftentimes, as generations go or generations come, every generation seems to get faster. Trying to get stuff faster, quicker, faster. But sometimes you just gotta sit down somewhere. Everybody putting console, sit down. So you gotta sit down somewhere and listen to the grown folk, man. Give you some of this good old age wisdom, man, that'll help settle you down a little bit, man. So true evidence he's passionate about what he's doing, and he's not trying to get over. He's for real. Thanks so much, Queen Melanie, his house. Oh, where you located? I believe Brother Frank, you're in Austell. You're still in Powder Springs?
Austell.
Yeah, we're in Georgia. Absolutely. Now I want to get a couple things back from you because sometimes you got to drop the mic, Frank. I got to teach you how to drop the mic sometimes. You just keep going, but you got some mic. So first, one of the things you said, man, start your own business. You said, quit being curious and get serious.
Yes, sir.
Quit being curious and get serious. But then you also said earlier, you gave us the 3 F's. You said freedom, flexibility. What was the other one? Fulfillment, right? Everybody putting guys the 3 F's: freedom, flexibility, and fulfillment. How many guys are out there you watching right now? You say, man, that's the big fight. The big fight in life is for freedom, right? I mean, people will die for freedom. I mean, freedom is the big fight. Wars happen over wanting to be free. I want to be free. Oh yeah,
sing it, David.
Freedom is the big fight, right? But then you get freedom, right? Especially through starting your own business or freeing yourself or freeing your mind. Now you have some fulfillment, meaning that you're doing what you want to do when you want to do it.
Absolutely.
How many guys are saying you find yourself in life like, man, I got this stuff I want to do. I got these changes I want to make. I got this contribution I want to give to society. Here's where I want to spend my time, but I'm not free to be able to fulfill.
Yes.
And that leaves a little dissatisfaction. That leaves a little bit of angst. That leaves a little bit of whatever those feelings are. So you got freedom, you got fulfillment, but then look at this, you got flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
You do things on your terms, on your time.
Absolutely.
And I tell people, Frank, that I'm basically the way I live my life now is when I wake up, I go to work, and when I get tired, I go to sleep. And so they can't understand, like, wow, you don't have to sleep 8 hours a day. No, if I'm not tired, I don't. If I am, I do. I have that choice.
That's a good place to be in. You put that. That's why I try to encourage people that time. Put yourself in a position until you sleep, until your eyes pop open. You ain't on no long clock or no time, nothing like that. You sleep until you're through. Sleep until you finish. Not being interrupted. Sleep until your eyes pop open. That's a good place to be in.
Right there, let's catch up on these comments, Brother Frank, man. They saying, man, that's what I'm talking. Stop being curious and get serious, man. Being monkey-minded, man, it's unstable in all your ways.
Right.
Unstable in all your ways. Get serious about this thing, man. What I like about it, see, I said it a little bit different, Frank, than SB Fuller. I said, man, the only reason why we find ourselves poor and dilapidated is because we simply haven't decided to get rich.
Yes.
We haven't decided to get rich. Because once we decide to get rich, then that also means what comes with that decision is the decision to learn how to get rich. You're not gonna really learn how to get rich if you haven't decided to get rich. Why would you want to learn something that you ain't decided to do yet? That doesn't make any sense because learning takes a commitment, right?
Yes, sir. Learning
takes a commitment. And so again, as I'm looking back in the back of your background, I'm seeing a whole bunch of study.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm seeing a whole bunch of stuff. And part of what your legacy, part of what you leave to your children's children are the books that you read.
Yes.
And maybe the books that you've written.
Mm-hmm.
Because they really confirm, right, your thought process.
That's what we've written.
Oh, you wrote a book?
Yeah.
I did not know you wrote a book, Frank. What's that book?
It's a survive life challenges.
How do we get that book, Frank? I did not know. How come I didn't know you all these years and I didn't know you wrote a book that I could actually read and figure out and learn the mind of Dr. Franklin J. Marshall?
Well, now this book right here is a collaborative effort, like about 9 more guys that's in my group, the Force of One. So and I challenged them to write at least about 4 chapters of their life, some of the things that they had challenges with they growing up. So and I encouraged them to write, and so they did, and we put it in this book right here. It's Survive Life Challenges.
How do you get that book, Frank? I can't believe you got a book. I didn't even know you had a book, Frank, that you're part of.
Well, as of right now, I don't have it on Amazon or anything. If anyone want it, they can give me a call and I can get it to them. So I'm getting ready to put it in my bookstore, in my store, because I got a store. I signed up with Lisa and everything, so it's going to be in there.
Well, it's not just going to be on that store, Brother Frank. It's going to be in my store. It's going to be in all these other stores as well. We're going to get the book out. So how many copies do you have on hand right now?
Well, right now, I got to order some more. Right now, I probably have like no more than about 7 on hand right now.
How much is the book?
With $20.
$20. All right, give me 5 of them, Frank. I'm going to make sure our with people that tune in today, I'm going to do some type of contest so that we can get you out a free book on survival. Matter of fact, no, we're not. Here's what we're going to do. This is for I want to bless the men because it's Black Man Monday here tonight. If you're a brother and you're watching the show right now, you're saying, you know, you want a book, you want a Surviving Life Challenges book written by Dr. Franklin and other, I think these are other men. Is this correct?
Correct.
These are other men that have written this book. Go ahead and put in console #survive. If you're a brother on Black Man Monday and you like a book, free book, gift, just for tuning into the show today, a book written by Dr. Franklin. I only got 5 of them, well, 4 of them I'll give away because I'm going to keep one for myself. I'm going to give them 4 away. Go ahead and put in console #survive. We're going to bless some Black men here today or some men, period. You don't even have to be Black. If you're a man, you're watching tonight, you want a book, go ahead and put in console, or watching here this morning, go ahead and put in console #survive. #survive. All right, I got you, Brother Donto out of Memphis. Thanks so much, man. We got a book coming to you. Brother Donto, make sure you inbox me your shipping address. Brother Ryan Great Scott, we got you, Brother Ryan Great Scott. I think make sure you inbox me your shipping address. Brother Sydney is in the house, man. We got you, man. That's 3. All right, you've got one more brother. I got one more gift for a brother that's out there. If not, I'll go to the sisters. You know, I know y'all like, I can't wait till you say something about these sisters. I'm going to type this thing in. Brother Sydney, make sure that you inbox me your shipping address. We'll get a book out to you. Surviving Life's Challenges, right? Surviving Life Challenges. So we got one more brother that's tuned in this morning. If not, then I'm going to have to pick a sister some type of way. Wow, that's going to be difficult. Okay, there we go. Loki Slick Sauce. Look at that. Vivian trying to squeeze that in. Vivian said, I'll get me a book. No, I got you, Loki Slick Sauce. Matter of fact, give me 6 books, brother. I'm going to Vivian with a book as well. So that'll be 6 books. All right. Sadly, okay, wait a second. Okay, Donto, Ryan Great Scott. It's a Setley in the city. Sydney, Loki, and Sedley. That's 5. Okay, give me 6 books, Frank.
Okay.
6 books, Frank. And I got you. Sedley, Loki, Sydney, Brother Ryan Scott, and Brother Donto. Make sure you inbox me your shipping address. We'll get a book out to you as quickly as I can. As quickly as I get them from Frank, I'll get them out to you guys for being here today. Black Man Monday, honoring our Black men today. Now, as we do that, Brother Frank.
Yeah, let me say one more thing right quick.
Go ahead, bro.
You know,
like I said, if you want to, man, it's your show.
Yeah, like I said, man, you are blessing me this morning, man, and I really, really appreciate it. That's why it's so important. That's why I said that you must model the mindset and strategy, you know, on the people like yourself, man. You know, so and I really appreciate that. By you doing that right there, man, that's gonna really cause me to want to even do more. That go by what you doing this morning, by me being on your show this morning, man, that gonna cause me to start thinking more bigger, bolder, and better. So you have really blessed me this morning, man. So when I get some more books in, I'm gonna give you a few copies just to sow into some people, because that's what I'm all about. I'm all about sowing into people. You know, and I know at one point in time when I first come into this self-personal development thing, when I used to go to events and stuff, man, I used to buy like about 10 books at one time. And I would bring them back and I just pass them out to my friends and this and that. Then I would ask them, I said, when I see them again, I say, hey, man, you read that book? No, I hadn't read it yet, man, but I'm gonna get right to it. Then I ask someone else, do you read that book? Well, man, I read a couple of pages, but I hadn't got, you know, and I just made up my mind, I'm not gonna do that no more. I quit buying books and just passing them out to people because they don't read them, man. You know, so if you want it, you know, you go out and get it. But I still do it from time to time, but not on that larger scale. You know, that's why I said I really appreciate what you're doing. And also, I encourage my son to write a book, too. My son is in prison. He's been in prison about 10 years now. And I encourage him to write a book. So that's what I am. I am the encourager challenger. I challenge you to do the things that you want to do or things that you don't think that you can do, but let you know that you have it in you. Because we got to learn how to conquer that fear. We got to learn how to knock the teeth out of fear. You know, fear terrorizes us and stops us from doing the things that we really say that we really want to do. And, you know, so he wrote a book right here on just being honest, man. He did not stand a job, not to have no training, anything. in a book.
I appreciate that, man. How much is that book?
It's a 15.
All right, put that one in my cart. So there's gonna be 6 of your books, and I'm gonna get your son's book. I want to read that. I like because I tell people honesty is the best policy. You don't begin transformation, you don't begin change. Honesty comes before desire. If you ain't honest, so you can have all desire in the world, but then you are desiring in delusion. You are desiring in delusion, and that's gonna hold you back, man. So that'll be 620. That's 120, 135. Okay, gotcha. And probably some shipping as well, or we're gonna probably meet somewhere.
Yeah, we'll meet
somewhere as well. So I want 6 books, and then your son's book. I'm just being honest. See, your son's book is something I'll just put up here, and I'm gonna get to reading it eventually. But the title itself is going to inspire me. How many guys got some books in your library? Just the title. That's why I wrote the book that I wrote, Brother Frank. Sometimes you might not even read this book, and I realize that. But just seeing the book changes people's lives.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good book.
Black millionaires, and that they are, and they look like me. Just seeing it. Oh, Brother Frank, we lost for a second. We'll see if we come back. I know that the internet.
Someone called. Well, phone call.
Okay, not a problem. So, Brother Frank, man, this is a black man. Okay, let me try to catch up on these comments as much as possible. All right, awesome, man. Take care of our men. That's so much Glenda Tate, man. Got you. Amen, absolutely. Man, so into people, absolutely. ERGJ continues to teach and challenge the mindset. And there are only a few in class. Class is always in session here, and it's free. Hey, what can we say? What is he's working on his e-commerce, by the way. So I guess you just went through a class to get your e-commerce set up as well, Brother Frank.
I haven't been through the class, but I done signed up, paid, got set up. So I'm gonna call Lisa today and talk more about it and see what all do I really need to do to really get it going.
Okay. Well, make sure you tune in to the what we're doing in the BBC. Obviously, you are if you did with Lisa as well. Absolutely, knock the teeth out of fear, man. That's what we do as men. We knock the teeth out of fear, man. Try to always grab me as well, man. Brother Frank, man, it is Black Man Monday. Okay. And in the comments below for everybody that's watching, I'd like for you to share why you love and appreciate the Black man. Why you love and appreciate. Now, the reason why I say it this way is because for women, you guys like the word love, and that's great. But I tell you, men really love appreciate. They love to be appreciated for the stuff that they do, what they provide, what they're trying to accomplish, their dreams, their goals, and visions. I found, and I'm not saying that love isn't valuable, but I found for many men, appreciation is greater in value than this word love that we use. But Brother Frank, while the guys are typing their love and appreciation for the Black man, for honoring the Black man here today on Black Man Monday, I'd like to hear from you as you speak to the Black men, as you think about. Here's what I'd say, as you speak to your younger self. What's something that Dr. Franklin J. Marshall has to say to young Frank to help him navigate through life as a Black man?
Well, one thing I want to say, always be authentic. Never try to shine when the light is not on you. That's what I like to tell a lot of people. Never try to shine when the light is not on you. Always be authentic. Just be who you are. So that's why it's so important that you have to study yourself. We study something in and everything except ourselves. We would not study ourselves. And that's what I just want to tell the Black men. Start spending more time with yourself and learning more about yourself. Get introduced to yourself. So that's why one reason that we all over the place, we're not doing the things we really want to do, because we don't really know who we are. When you don't know who you are, you don't know what you are, what you're capable of. Just like these cell phones have features in them that you don't even realize that's there. It's there because you don't realize it there doesn't mean it's not there. And that's the way we are as Black men. We are some strong beings, man. We're some strong creatures. Every nationality is going to be somewhat like us. And so we need to study ourselves so we can get more out of ourselves. And so I want to just go, speaking to my younger Frank. I was just telling my young Frank, I just wish I had been a little bit more engaged in myself, for his knowledge in myself, because what it said, knowledge is powerful, But it's not just powerful, but it's the application of it. You got to be able to use it, but you can't use it until you get it. And so now, to my younger self, I would have told myself, spend more time working on myself opposed to spending time working against myself. Because a lot of times when we're young, we spend a whole lot of time working against ourselves opposed to working on ourselves. And so once you get to the point where you start working on yourself, you're moving forward. That means you got some kind of, what it is that you want. You have an outlook, and all that comes with a change of attitude. If I was speaking to my young self, I would tell my young self, get your attitude right. Because, when you're young and you misbehave, you don't really know who you are. You're doing something in and everything. Your attitude is not right. In order to get your mind right, you got to get your attitude right. In order to get your life right, you got to get your attitude right. I would tell myself, to get more engaged and start having more faith in myself and have more faith in God. That's what I would tell my younger self. Quit trying to do so much on my own. And I would tell my younger self to incorporate myself with people like yourself. Look for people that gonna help me to get to where I want to be. Because the best advice I ever had in my life was surround myself with people that go in places. Why is that? Because it'll rub off on you. I would have incorporate myself with more people that doing some of the things that I really want to do. And, and I would have a better, and I'll speak to my young self and tell my younger self to have a better outlook on life. Know where it is where you want to go and spend time working on those things. Quit working against yourself and start working on yourself to make those things happen. And also, I would tell myself, to start taking action more, start doing more things in life that really, really, really matter. So when you make a mistake, do three things. You accept it and you correct it and move on. Because that's one of the biggest problems. Like when we're young, a lot of times we make mistakes. We sit there, we continue just beating ourselves up, other than trying to correct it and start blaming something in and everybody else and everything. But look in the mirror and blame yourself, because you're giving your power away when you start blaming everybody else for the mistakes and things you done made yourself. So that's what I do. I would tell my younger self, Evan, when I make a mistake, accept it, and then I'll correct it, and then I'll just move on. If it can be that simple, which it can be, because everything is mindset. You have to learn who you are. You have to take control of yourself. And so that's where discipline come in at. Because that's the reason so many of our young people today is in jail and all other places, because they don't have the discipline of themselves. Because when there's no self-discipline, there will always be other discipline. If you can't discipline yourself, the system will discipline you. So that's why I'm reading my son right here, because he didn't have no self-discipline. He was hard-headed and he would not listen. Because you take the average young man, when their life is upside down, you can always trace it back to being disobedient to their parents and authority. So that's what I would tell myself, to spend more time working on myself and not against myself.
Spend more time working on yourself, not against yourself. And I say this as well, man. Don't be the person that works harder on your job than you do on yourself.
Right.
Working harder on your job than you do for yourself, man. Let me catch up on these comments, Brother Frank. Great words of wisdom here today on Black Man Monday. Knock the teeth out of here. that was Black Man right there will be knock the teeth out of here, boy. For the e-commerce class, make sure you inbox me, Donto. I appreciate you. I got you, man. I appreciate the Black man for his survival, tenacity, and genius. I love men, their relentless spirit. Vivian, love, determination to survive himself and family. Men are kings and leaders. We learn so much from them. Absolutely, man. Never try to shine when the light is not on you. Stay humble. That's right. Never try to shine when the light is not on you, man. Yes, sir. Let your light shine. Find out who you are, Brother Donto, man. You can't use knowledge until you get it. Get your mind right. Absolutely wise counsel. Take accountability and move on. I appreciate the Black man for the tenacity, your creativity, for sowing seed into us to bring us a better future and for our children. Mistake, accept it, correct it, and move on. That's right. Yeah. That disobedience is a killer. That's right, man. Absolutely, man. And when wisdom speaks, hopefully we listen. Well, beautiful people, I want to say thanks so much for being with us here today on the Money and Power Show for our special presentation, Black Man Monday, where we give honor to where honor is due. We do the same thing on Wednesdays, guys. We do Black Woman Wednesday, by the way. So don't think it's just a Black man thing. But we just want to make sure we continue to uplift one another. That we take the time to uplift the man and the woman so that our whole community can be uplifted. And we can, like we said, we can get our minds right. Right? We can get our minds right, man. All your day long, think about this. All day long, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Mm-hmm. So will you take any time to build yourself up so that you can be prepared for war? It is a war. It's a war for your mind. It's a war for your spirit. Every day, all day long, the enemy is coming to steal, kill, and destroy. And if you do not prepare, you just open the door for the enemy to take very easily. We don't want to be that type of person. Nope. We're going to build ourselves up so that we can fight to keep our spirit and our mind right. That's right. Fight to keep your spirit and your mind right. Brother Frank, I want to say thanks so much for being with us here today on the Money and Power Show. Hopefully you had a wonderful time sharing with us. We definitely appreciate wisdom when wisdom speaks, and we take the time to listen here. Well, that's what we do with our people. So we're not the type of people that get the books and don't read. No, we're going to get the book. You guys, we're going to be sitting here reading together. As soon as I get to it, we're going to be reading together, right? Survival life challenges, man. That's the reason why I'm doing it. And we'll continue to support you as you support us, as we support we. As we support we. Well, beautiful people, I want you guys to remember this, that it takes a village. It starts with us. Let's build as we climb together. We all we got, beautiful people. Matter of fact, we all we need. And thank God that that's more than enough. It's time to get up, to get out, and go get something. Mr. DJ, hit the music.
The new Black Wall Street. Thanks you for joining the show. We gave a lot of great tips, but it's time to go. Take the knowledge we shared, hope you use it and grow. We will see you all there at the next episode of The New Black Wall Street. The New Black Wall Street.